Okay, let's get into the eyeshadow application. So the first thing we're going to apply is a base in order to make sure that the powders, the eyeshadows can stand out and not be so muted on the skin. So I'm going to go in with a natural skin tone, almost a flesh-like tone-like base. And this is from About Face. Yes, this is About Face, and this is Fluid Eye Paint in the shade Light Translucent. This is in the shade Light Translucent. And you don't need a lot. And you also want to take off some of the excess because this does apply very, very thick on the eyes. So you want to take off some of the excess and put it back in the bottle like this so that you don't lose any, which means you'll only need one for a really long time, depending on how often you apply eyeshadows. Okay, and that area is giving me issues for some reason when it usually doesn't. And so is this area over here. Okay, but we'll work with it. We'll work with it. We'll work with it. We will work with that issued area. Going in with this eyeshadow palette from Wet n Wild, and this is the Wet n Wild Color Icon eyeshadow palette. And this one doesn't have a actual name to it, but I'll give you the barcode. The barcode is 111470, and I bought this one from the Real Canadian Superstore. Alright, so here's what I'm going to do with this eyeshadow. We're going to go in this direction with this eyeshadow. So I'm going to start by setting my entire lid with this purple shade. Okay? Actually, I'm going to go in with this one because I want to kind of change the shape a little bit. So I'm going to take this brush right here. And as a matter of fact, let me zoom you all in a little bit. Maybe you'll focus. That's much better. That's much better. So now that you're zoomed in and focused on the eyeshadow, we're going to go in with this purple shade right here. Okay? And we're going to apply the purple eyeshadow all over my lid. It's gonna look a little bit messy, but you'll see the cleanup in the end. You'll see the cleanup in the end once I pull back out the concealer in order to neaten it up a little bit. Purple eyeshadows and blue eyeshadows usually get a little bit messy to begin with anyways. So you're gonna see the mess before you see the outcome. Okay, and that is the purple eyeshadow applied on the full lid. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually take the concealer to clean up that purple eyeshadow. So I'm going to go back in with this concealer right here, and I'm going to take the sponge and I'm going to clean up the outer edge so that I can apply the other eyeshadows to it. So let us clean this up first by just adding the concealer there and adding just a little bit more concealer under the eye. Okay, just to clean that area up, and this is why I like to use a sponge to apply instead of a brush, because even though I've applied the powder first, the sponge will be able to not disturb the previous application. Okay, so clean that up. Now let's clean up the purple shadow here. And that is what you call a perfect cleanup. It didn't happen, but technically it did. You cleaned up the mess, even though it did happen. Okay? So, you've cleaned up the mess. Now, let's get into the rest of the eyeshadow application. Now, we're going to go in on a semi-clean brush with a much lighter shade, and I'm going to go into the brown shade with that brush, and I'm going to use it to blend out the crease of the purple and set that concealer. Okay, so we've set the concealer and we've blended out the crease of the purple. Now, I'm gonna go in with this dark, not dark, because this is the dark one here, this is the much lighter one. I'm gonna go in with this and I am going to set it on the outer portions of my eye. The outer portion, such as right here. So just gonna set that on the outer portion of my eye right there. Okay? And yes, we're going to need to also clean that up. So with this eyeshadow, what I can tell you is that you need to apply the eyeshadow first because it has a lot of fallout. The product falls out a lot on the skin, but I can see how well it applies with this foundation and routine that applying the eyeshadow first would not affect me at all because I know the outcome. But the product has a lot of fallout, so now that we know that, what we do is we apply the eyeshadow first upon the next application. in order to prevent fallout from happening onto the skin and where we've already applied our base products. Alright, so that's the brush right there. So what I'm gonna do now with this one, this shade right here, is I'm gonna go in my inner corner right here with this purple shade. Go in the inner corner with that purple shade. Okay? Right there in the inner corner. Right there. Just like so. Right there in the inner corner, and take that brush and blend it through. Okay, so gonna go back in again with that light shade on the next eye in the inner corner. Okay, and then we're going to blend that right on through. Okay, and then what I'm gonna do with the lighter shade, the final shade, which is this one, I'm gonna take that above my brow bone. I'm gonna take that above my brow bone, and that will complete the entire look. So take that just right above my brow bone, just like so, and just kind of flare it out a little bit. Flare it out. Flare it out just like so. Okay? And with that, the eyeshadow look is complete. We are going to, because we've gone over 10 minutes into the 12-minute portion, we're going to go in with a one product view in mascara form in the next segment coming up. So stay tuned for that.